The school hallways were buzzing with chatter that morning, but Aaliyah walked quietly, clutching her books to her chest. She had always been the quiet one, brilliant, hard-working and kind-hearted, but different. Different because of her dark skin in a school where most students didn't look like her. Different because she was new. Different because she carried herself with dignity in a place where many confused kindness with weakness. The whispers followed her everywhere. Ooh, does she think she is? Ooh, she doesn't belong here. Ooh, look at her clothes. But Aaliyah kept walking, her chin slightly raised, her heart whispering the words her mother had told her before she passed away. Baby, never let anyone dim your light. The world will try, but you are stronger than their cruelty. That morning she wasn't expecting trouble. She wasn't expecting the group of bullies, Jason, Tyler, and Brianna, to be waiting by her locker. They were notorious for preying on anyone they thought weak, but Aaliyah had become their favorite target. Hey, collar girl, Jason sneered as she opened her locker. Why you always walking around like you own the place? Aaliyah ignored him. She had learned silence was sometimes the strongest answer, but this time silence only fueled their cruelty. Tyler stepped closer, eyes narrowing. Answer when we talk to you, he barked, slamming her locker shut. The bang echoed down the hallway. Students turned their heads, but no one dared step in. Brianna, smirking, leaned against the wall. What's the matter, princess? Too good to talk to us. Aaliyah took a deep breath. I don't want any trouble, she said softly. Jason laughed. Trouble? Girl, you already in it. And before she could step back, he grabbed her by the collar of her shirt, yanking her forward. Gasps filled the hallway. For a moment, Aaliyah's eyes widened in shock. She could feel the rough grip against her skin, her heart pounding wildly. The old Aaliyah might have frozen, swallowed her pain, and walked away humiliated. But not today. Something inside her snapped. No, not anger, but power. A deep, fiery strength she had kept buried because she never wanted to hurt anyone. But when Jason pulled her collar, something in her mother's words echoed louder than ever. Never let them dim your light. You are stronger than their cruelty. Aaliyah looked straight into Jason's eyes, calm, steady, and with one swift motion she grabbed his wrist, twisted it gently but firmly, and pulled herself free. Jason stumbled back in shock. He wasn't expecting resistance, especially not from her. The hallway went silent. You don't get to put your hands on me, Aaliyah said, her voice clear, steady, and strong. Tyler scoffed. Oh, look at her trying to be tough. He moved forward, but before he could touch her, Aaliyah stepped aside with precise speed, letting his momentum carry him forward. He tripped and nearly fell, catching himself on the lockers. Students gasped again. No one had ever stood up to these bullies like this. Brianna narrowed her eyes. You'll regret this, she hissed. But Aaliyah didn't back down. She stood tall, her collar slightly wrinkled but her dignity untouched. No, she said firmly. The only thing I regret is letting you think I was afraid of you. For a few seconds, the bullies didn't move. The shock was too great. And in that silence, something magical happened. The other students began to murmur, whispering words of support. Did you see that? She stood up to Jason. She's not scared. For the first time, Aaliyah realized she wasn't alone. She had inspired others just by standing up for herself. The principal eventually came rushing down the hall, alerted by the noise. He separated the students, demanded explanations, and for once the bullies had no smug grins, only silence. As Aaliyah walked to her next class, her hands still trembling slightly, she realized something powerful. She had shocked everyone, not because she fought back with violence, but because she chose courage over fear. The next day, the school felt different. Word had spread about what happened in the hallway. Everyone had seen it, or at least heard about it. Aaliyah, the quiet new girl who never fought back, had stood up to Jason, Tyler, and Brianna, the school's most feared bullies. Some whispered in admiration, others doubted, and a few were angry, especially the bullies themselves. Jason slammed his locker shut, his jaw tight. She embarrassed us, in front of everyone. Tyler growled. She thinks she's tough now. We can't just let that slide. Brianna crossed her arms, her eyes cold. Then we don't. We'll break her confidence in front of the whole school. But Aaliyah wasn't the same girl she had been just a week ago. Something inside her had awakened, something stronger than fear. And when she walked through those hallways, chin raised and shoulders straight, people noticed. At lunch, she sat alone as usual. But this time, instead of whispers and stares, a few students approached her. "Hey, what you did yesterday, that was brave," said a shy girl named Emily.
Yeah,
Added another student. "No one ever stands up to Jason." Aaliyah smiled softly. She didn't feel like a hero, she had just defended herself. But now, others saw her as a symbol. The bullies noticed too. And they weren't about to let her shine. That afternoon in the gymnasium, Jason and Tyler cornered Aaliyah during free period. Brianna was standing nearby, arms folded, smirking like a queen watching her soldiers. Jason stepped forward, his voice low but sharp. "You think yesterday was something? You humiliated me. But today we'll see how tough you really are." Aaliyah's heart pounded, but she didn't back down. "I don't want to fight you," she said, her voice steady. Tyler laughed cruelly. "Fight? Oh no, we're gonna teach you a lesson." He reached forward again, aiming to shove her. But this time, Aaliyah moved like lightning. She sidestepped, using his momentum against him, and Tyler stumbled forward, nearly falling flat on the gym floor. The few students watching gasped. Jason's eyes burned with rage. He lunged, grabbing her shoulder, but Aaliyah twisted free, planting her feet firmly on the ground. "Stop," she said, her voice echoing. "You think strength is about hurting people, but real strength is standing tall when everyone wants you to fall." Her words cut through the air like a blade. Even Brianna's smirk faltered. The coach entered the gym just then, alerted by the commotion. "What's going on here?" he demanded. Jason quickly released his grip, muttering excuses. But the coach wasn't fooled. He had seen enough, and with so many witnesses, the truth was clear. The bullies were caught. By the end of the day, the principal called all of them to the office. The bullies were suspended. Aaliyah, on the other hand, was praised for her composure and courage. But the real shock came later, when dozens of students approached her, one after another, thanking her. Not because she fought back, but because she proved it was possible to stand up to fear. One boy said quietly, "They used to pick on me too. I never thought I could do anything about it until I saw you." That night, Aaliyah stood in front of her mirror. For the first time in a long time, she didn't see just the new girl or the different girl. She saw a warrior, a light her mother always knew she carried. She whispered softly, as if speaking to her mother's spirit, "You were right. I am stronger than their cruelty." And from that day forward, Aaliyah wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was a symbol of courage. She had shocked everyone, not by fighting harder, but by showing that courage, dignity, and self-respect could break chains that fists never could. To narrator hook for YouTube ending. If Aaliyah's courage inspired you, let it remind you of something important. No matter how tough life gets, no one has the right to dim your light. Stand tall. Be brave. And if you believe more people need stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because together, we can keep spreading courage.